just my own personal experience. I homeschooled my kids. I was homeschooling my kids when I worked at the Arboretum, volunteered, eventually worked in education over there. We built the nature trail at the Arboretum, and while working there, was able to meet a lot of the natural resource coordinators. And you know, I like to say I'm a quiet person that doesn't talk a real lot, but when I have somebody that has an opportunity to do something, I start pestering them, and I'll try every door I can and try and come up with ideas. But while there, I talked about Dry Lake, not Rogers Lake, Dry Lake, and I was looking at the ecosystem, and you go from ephemeral wetland into a grassland, shifting into an aspen, oak, conifer mix, and it's rich habitat there. And there was, it was in bankruptcy once upon a time, and I started talking to Rick Miller about that from Game and Fish, and Rick was saying, well, you know, that one's a drop in a bucket, you should see Rogers Lake. And that's when my mind started to become focused on that. And then I got involved in the open spaces and greenways component of the Flagstaff Regional Plan, and in that, the early processes, part of the introduction is an education, and you get to talk to the people on the land as well as the land managers and find out. When we were looking at the open space piece, we started to say, you know, growth is going to occur in the Flagstaff region. We know it's coming. How do we plan wisely associated with that? And then we know we also have state trust lands out there, and the intent of them is to sell them so that our schools can have money, but also to provide for community opportunities as the future starts to come before us. Well, we took a look at the state trust lands and thought, well, there are certain ones in there. We don't want to say pro-growth, no growth, but there are certain ones out there that have high resource values. And that's part of how Rogers Lake started to fall into a consideration of, you know, we need to look at Rogers Lake in a little bit different way than some of the other state trust lands that are surrounding the area. Part of trying to get something to happen when you're dealing with community is, well, you need to incorporate things into plans. Key piece is getting it into the plans, and that's a critical part. And, you know, I had eventually gotten elected and liked a lot of what we had been doing with the plans, and we started pushing for the Arizona Preserve Initiative.